Help me understand, Jason Williams. See, caping for the man. You gotta stop caping, man. Take that cape off. If you want to put a cape on, put a green, black, and red cape on, bro. But you don't want to do that because you trying to keep that job, man. You trying to keep the little pussy-ass job, man. Shut the hell up. Man, see, this is why I'm disappointed in a lot of these cats on TV. Because you would put your life in jeopardy. You're going to ask somebody else to do it. Become a firefighter. You want to see somebody put their life in jeopardy? Follow fire trucks around and watch them pick up the bills. Sit your ass in your car, watch them in. Then you can watch the people put their lives in jeopardy. Otherwise, shut up. Back to the LeBron James defense segment of the show. Y'all know what's happening every week at 10. Check this out. Yeah. LeBron James said he wasn't willing to play in an empty arena because he plays for the fans and he gets energy from the fans and yada, yada, yada. The same thing that y'all tell us, it feels electric in here. I've never experienced anything like this. So LeBron is actually regurgitating what y'all tell us about sporting events, and he don't want to do it, and he's wrong. And they go, is LeBron James' voice the most powerful voice in sport? Maybe. Have you ever thought about this? LeBron James don't have the most powerful voice in sports. But LeBron James understands that he's bulletproof. LeBron James understands that when he says something, we don't know if LeBron James is on the phone with Jimmy Butler, if he's on the phone with Kawhi Leonard, if he's on the phone with Stephen Curry, if he's on the phone with Chris Paul, he's on the phone with the boys in Houston and so forth and so on. And they're saying, look, man, we ain't up with this shit. We can't say it because they'll kill us. But we need you to follow the sword. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe he is speaking for the players, and because he's the hottest thing in sports right now, and he's the biggest name in sports right now, he understands he has this undying support of the LeBron fans, and if he says something, they're going to follow him no matter what. Maybe he's just standing up for what's right because he understands that the rest of the players can't. Maybe it's not his voice. Maybe it's a collective voice. The documentary on MJ is coming out early. It was supposed to come out in June, but it's coming out on April 19th. Shout out to ESPN for finally getting something correct on this MJ documentary. I got to give credit for that. They're going to push it up. Well, shout out to Mike Hill for putting on Twitter. Look at what God did. Shout out to Mike Hill. That was hilarious. But I got to give him credit for that. I will give them credit for that. But that's going to be an interesting documentary. I want to see how people respond to Michael Jordan after they see his way, the ways he conducts himself like a tyrant a lot of times. Because Mike used to get in people's behinds, man. And he had no problem knocking your teeth out, metaphorically, in some cases slapping Steve Kerr in the eye, actually. And I want to see how people respond because, Michael Jordan fans make excuses for him all the time. He would have never did this and he would have never did that. But I can't wait to hear the excuses. And I can't wait for people to start tearing down LeBron James, saying, see, that's the reason he didn't win as many championships as Michael Jordan. I can't wait to see that. Because it's going to be interesting. It's truly going to be interesting to see the way y'all cake for him. And I ain't tripping. It's what y'all do. It's what we do, man. That's going to be the highest viewed documentary ever. I agree, Joe. Folks going to call that passion and him being a great dude. Of course they will. I just want to hear it, Joe. I ain't going to lie to you, brother. I just want to hear it. And the last thing I'm going to talk about this evening is this. ESPN pissed me off. How'd they piss you off, man? ESPN did it again with this nonsense about Michael Jordan. They had a fan voting of the greatest athlete of all time. And this plays right into my line of thinking, saying a lot of guys that watch sports today are totally uninformed. And the reason they're uninformed, how can you be uninformed with a computer in your hand just about every day of your life? Most of us walk around with these smartphones. They're not really phones, they're computers. And you can look up just about anything in the history of the world by Google. and they tell you something, and all you have to do is go to basketball records, football records, baseball records to find out they're telling the truth about it. It's the truth, y'all. That's all you have to do. So, when you do that, they put a fan vote out there. Greatest college basketball player ever. And it's come down to Michael Jordan and one Larry Joe Bird. Now, if you're going to talk about greatest basketball players in the history of the game, if you don't bring up Larry Joe Bird and you don't bring up Michael Jeffrey Jordan, bro, you are outside your mother freaking mind. It goes without saying, man. Bird was one of the baddest boys you ever will see, ever have seen, ever go see play basketball. It goes without saying that that's who he is. Mike is arguably the greatest basketball player in the world. You're going to lose that argument with me because I go, ooh, and when I jump in my car, I'm going to tell you it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Shout out to Shakti. I say it's Kareem. But when you talk about college basketball, get the hell out of here, man. Collectively, they have 3 Player of the Years, 4 All-American first teams, 2 and 2, and 1 national championship. By the way, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has 3 All-American, 4 years in college, 3 years played, and 3 Players of the Year, 3 most outstanding players, and 2 college basketball losses. Bill Russell did lose a game the last 2 years he was in college basketball. Do you hear what I said? William Felton Russell. It's this guy. If Michael Jordan didn't have a greater college career than his own personal idol, David Thompson, Michael Jordan has never led a team to a national championship. Exactly. That's what my man Junker Wilt, Russell, Kareem, and then anybody else. You know what? You got to give it up to Bill Walton, bad feet ass. In college, Bill Walton. That's the only reason Bill Walton is in the Hall of Fame, because of what he did in college. Michael Jordan didn't have a better college basketball career than Grant Hill. Neither did Larry Bird. Grant Hill went to 4 Final Fours, won 2 national championships, and was the difference in the Duke Blue Devils winning, beating UNLV. He was the difference. So when you tell me that Michael Jordan and Larry Bird are the 2 greatest college basketball players ever, that lets me know you never watched any college basketball. Michael Jordan never led a college basketball team to a college championship. How does Michael Jordan have a better college career than Danny Manning? Larry Bird, who never won a national championship, how does he have a better career than Magic Johnson? Y'all outside y'all damn minds, man. Danny Manning, man. Danny Manning used to break the press, get the balls to the guards, go post up and dominate in the paint. But they didn't tell y'all Danny Manning was good. Hey, how about this? Christian Laettner, 4 Final Fours, 2 national championships. And hey, bros don't like to admit it, Christian Laettner put in work against Alonzo Mourning and Shaq, man. And Chris Webber. So, as great as Bird and Jordan are, as the man Jungle said, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, and I added Walton, don't even talk to me about that. Come on, man. Next thing y'all gonna be telling me that Rip Hamilton is good. And these type of cats. Come on, y'all. Stop falling for the banana potato pie, please, people. You ain't got to go along with the nonsense every time. Michael Jordan had a stellar college career. But look, guess what? How about this? This is why Michael Jordan can never be considered one of the greatest college basketball. Michael Jordan and Jason Williams ended their career the exact same way. By the way, Jason Williams, Player of the Year twice, 2 national championships, but he freaked the game at his last game. Michael Jordan and Jason Williams from Duke Blue Devils and Chicago Bulls fame, both choked at the free throw line in NCAA time. Greatest basketball player in history of college basketball. Can't choke at the free throw line for your last game ever. Your last action cannot be choking at the free throw line and you be one of the greatest ever. Everybody loved swinging on Mike Joyner. Mike is the man. There is no doubting that. But for you to come outside your mouth and say he better than David Thompson, better than Larry Johnson, had a better career than those guys, Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, I ain't even got to Jamal Silk Wilkes and Marcus Johnson. I ain't even got to those dudes. Dr. Duncanstein, Purvis Ellison, guys who actually led their teams to championship. See, it's cool to love Michael Jordan, man. He was the man. He treated the city of Chicago, my hometown, to some of the greatest sporting events, sporting times ever. But that's what you talking about before he got here. I ain't trying to hear. I'm also going to distill this myth that nobody saw Michael Jordan coming. People, Michael Jordan was a goddamn McDonald's All-American. Most McDonald's All-Americans spend a little time in the league at the rest. He went to one of the biggest schools in the nation, the school that has the most Final Four appearances in the history of the Final Four, and was two-time Player of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, the most dominant conference to this day in college basketball. And you ain't see him coming. Oh, by the way, it was a big man's league when he got drafted. And by the way, he got drafted in front of some big men. With that being said, man, thank y'all for tuning in to the TEODB Podcast. This is HRap B. I love it. Here come another Black History fact. I see y'all tomorrow night with the number one Chief Rock Jersey Burn. It's going down. 2 fingers, 1 word. I'm out.
Now, what's happening in all the urban cities across America is that you got a process in place right now in urban redevelopment. They're using 5 techniques that totally wipe you out. One is called gentrification. They're going into all these major cities that used to be majority black populated cities, and they are erasing you. In places like Detroit, Michigan, New York, Boston, Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. used to be the chocolate city. When I went there with President Carter in 1976, at that time, Washington, D.C. was 78% black. Now it's down to about 42% black. Wow. Chocolate City is gone. Detroit, Michigan is going to be totally wiped out by immigrants pouring into the society. Since 1970 up to now, we've had 45 million immigrants coming to the United States. They came in over you, and they're displacing you. And then the second term they use besides gentrification to wipe you out is a thing they call privatization. You go into Detroit, Michigan, as they gentrify, they're going to take all the public resources and things that should be owned by the public, they're going to place them through privatization to the hands of the wealthy whites. Whites are going to buy your golf courses, your subway systems, your bridges, your tunnels. They're going to control your airports, your parks, your museums. Why? Again, because Anderson says, he who owns and controls the resources got the power. If you own and control nothing, you are totally, absolutely useless and expendable. And that's why nothing has changed for us, because we don't understand the system of gentrification and privatization. The other thing they're using to wipe you out in those cities is called metropolitan forms of government, where now they're going to do regional form of government, which means that the whites in the suburbs can come into those black cities and set up some kind of consortium to control what goes on inside those cities so they can extract the resources out of them. Another concept they use in those cities is called cool cities, which says cool cities means bring in the gays and let them replace black folk. And that's the fourth scheme they use on you. And in Detroit, Michigan, using that as an example again, the governor there has already set up in movement a system where he wants to go to the President of the United States, Obama, and ask him for a green card system where he can start importing Chinese from China to make Detroit, Michigan the biggest Chinatown in the United States. Even though that city had a 90% black population, they're going to bury blacks in Detroit, Michigan, underneath Asians coming into Detroit. And already in Detroit, Michigan, in Dearborn, right on the outskirts of Detroit, Arabs own 90%. 90% of all the businesses in the city of Detroit are owned by Arabs. Arabs and 90% black population must go to the Arabs to get what they want in terms of food,